All right, Shalom. This is your brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasher Allah, and a sincere salutation to all Yuakim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Yahweh is the name of the one they ignorantly call God. Yahweh Shai is the name of the one they ignorantly call Jesus. Bahashem is in the name. Rakah is spirit, Kodash is holy, Akyam is brothers, Akwath is sisters. Shalom means peace, and Yasher Allah is Israel in ancient Paleo-Hebrew. There's Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 8, and it reads, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. This is also Ecclesiastes 11 and 5. Many kings have sat down upon the ground, and one that was never thought of hath worn the crown. All right. And I want to go into a lesson on this through the spirit, because ultimately what we're witnessing and what we're living through, Lord willing, we be a part of that number, is the changing of a guard. All right. The changing of guard with the kingdom. All right. Being translated to Yahweh Shai. All right. Whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus, with the nation of Israel as joint heirs, beginning with the elect. All right, because ultimately that's what prophecy leads us to. All right, when you look at our records from beginning to end, all right, it's always discussed the time of the changing of guard, when Jacob would rule, when Jacob would receive that inheritance. All right, that's the topic of conversation, so to speak, when you look at the scriptures concerning prophecy, because prophecy only leads us to what? It leads us to the second coming of Yahweh Shai. All right. In the time that we're living in, this is why we look at prophecy so closely, because it represents that changing of the guard. All right. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 6. All right. In verse 8. And it reads, I'm going to start at 7. It says, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other questions, Esdras, ask thou not. All right, because ultimately Esau's rulership, and Esau Edom is the so-called white man, marks the end of the Gentiles or the heathens having rulership and dominion forever. This is basically the Lord putting a period on the end of the sentence of the controversy of Israel. From the moment we left Egypt, we've been in and out of captivity. And this is why, Yahweh Shai is known as the author and finisher of our faith, because at that point, there's no need to have hope once you see Yahweh Shai. All right, that puts a period on the end of the sentence, and it ends our cycle of going in and out of captivity. When you look at the context of the scriptures, it's the Lord dealing with his people, but it's also the Lord speaking of a time when the Lord would give his people the kingdom. All right, when the kingdom would be restored unto Israel as promised to the forefathers. All right, and Yahweh Shai is the beginning of that rulership. All right, let's go here. This is Acts. You know what? Let me go here. Let me go to Revelation real quick. It's Revelation chapter 2 and verse 26. And he reads, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. So the big controversy through the spirit, especially in the time that we're living in, is the change of the guard. Jacob's trouble, the mark of the beast. All right, World War III. All of these things are a sign of the changing of the guard, so to speak. Because after these tribulations, after the World War III, all right, once Yahweh Shai arrives, that's the beginning of the rulership that was promised to our forefathers ages ago. And when you look at it through the spirit, this is a big operation through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. The Lord is actually going to restore the kingdom, the rulership, the dominion on the planet to Yahweh Shai first and foremost, and the nation of Israel as joint heirs. So the time that we're in is a time like none other. This is a time that's going to be spoken of in eternity. When you think about the kingdom, the translation of the power of the earth from the hands of the wicked, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, into the hands of Yahweh Shai, all right, who is the beginning of the rulership. All right, Yahweh Shai is the King of Kings. Matter of fact, Yahweh Shai is known as the Prince of the Kings. All right, and I'll get that real quick. It's Revelation 1:5, and from Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who is a faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead, which shows you that the rest of the nation of Israel, beginning with the elect, all right, will be begotten of the dead as well. That's why he's the first begotten of the dead. All right, what did he say in John? When we see him, we shall be like him. Because contrary to popular belief, all right, the nation of Israel in the kingdom of heaven will not die. All right. When the Lord was talking about eternal life, he wasn't just talking. It wasn't a parable. It wasn't figurative speech. All right, let's continue. It says, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood. Because ultimately it's Yahweh Shai's kingdom. You know, all things were made for him. It was made by him and it was made for him. Yahweh Shai is the King of Kings. And what we're witnessing is the transition of power. You know, when you follow history, oftentimes the transition of power in history has been violent. It's been tumultuous. And even at the beginning of a ruler's dominion, if you will, all rebels are usually purged out in the beginning of his reign. And we're witnessing that to a degree. You know, the Lord is, with prophecy, the Lord is setting the stage for a demonstration of judgment. You know, because when Yahweh Shai actually sits in his dominion in Jerusalem, by that time, not only the nation of Israel, but all the nations of the earth are going to have their own personal experience of the Lord's judgment. You know, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is going to have a different ring to it in the kingdom. Just like when you think about how the world views the so-called white man as a whole, you know, for the most part, at least 50 years ago, they would look at the so-called white man and they would think about power and resources. And that was a common benefit that most so-called white people were able to capitalize off of. Well, that rulership and that reputation is about to be taken from Esau and given to Jacob, beginning with Yahweh Shai. All right. And we've been waiting. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. Our nation has been waiting for this. All right. The prophecies are full of the coming of the Messiah. All right. Let's get an example of that. This is Jeremiah chapter 49:9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. Unto him shall the gathering of the people be. All right. And Shiloh is Yahweh Shai. All right. Because Yahweh Shai is also known as the Prince of Peace. In Yahweh Shai's rulership, the nations are not going to learn war anymore. And this is the big picture. You know, when we look at prophecy, you know, we talk about the MOTB, you know, how Esau's implementing AI and trying to set himself up as God. All of those things were foretold. But no matter what Esau does on this side, it's not going to equal up in rulership. He's not going to upset prophecy. He's still going to lose. And the crown is going to be passed to Yahweh Shai. All right. And this is the beauty of it. We're witnessing a kingdom being translated. All right. This is Revelation chapter 19. And I'm going to jump down to verse 11. And it reads, and I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And this is what we're waiting for. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, we're waiting for the king to return and collect what is rightfully his. This is why the apostles had the same sentiment. Acts 1:6, and it reads, when they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power. And what I love to bring up in that precept, one of the points I love to bring up is that the Lord didn't rebuke them for saying that. He didn't say, no, it's not about Israel. It's about all who believe. No, he said it's not for you to know the times, which means the things that were promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which were passed to the Israelites, was not disrupted by Yahweh Shai arriving. And that's what Christianity likes to put out there, that narrative that, yeah, all the promises were given to Israel in the Old Testament, but then the Lord opened it up in the New Testament to anybody. But when you read these scriptures, you understand it. You know, you see clearly that there's a kingdom promised to the Lord's people. And through all of the captivities, through all the turmoil, the ups and downs as a nation of people, the Israelites would at the end have dominion under Yahweh Shai, who is the King of Kings. All right, let's go to Daniel. Daniel is a perfect picture of this. All right, so this is Daniel chapter 7. And I'm going to jump down to 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. I beheld them because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed, and given to the burning flame. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and he came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. So this was always prophesied, that there would be a kingdom that the Messiah would inherit and rule over forever. And the Israelites will be joint heirs under Yahweh Shai, because it's all made for his sake. And this is what we're witnessing, a transition of power. As Esau is becoming weak, the Lord is building the foundation of the kingdom of heaven, with Yahweh Shai being the chief cornerstone, all right, and the elect being that foundation under Yahweh Shai. Because that's going to be the governing body in the kingdom. And then 2/3 of our people will be born through the loins of the elect. Which goes into what Paul said in Romans the 11th chapter and the 26th verse. And it reads, and so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. And this is what the scriptures is always discussed concerning the end days, the end times, the end of the rulership of the heathens, the end of the nation of Israel going in and out of captivity, the restoration of the nation of Israel, and Yahweh Shai inheriting a kingdom on earth that will never be destroyed. And we're witnessing this. All right, Lord willing, we be a part of that number. This is Isaiah chapter 60. And I'm going to jump down to verse 14. It says, the sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. And they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Yasharallah. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. And that's only given to one nation of people. And what we're witnessing is that transition of power through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. You know, we're witnessing Esau set his plan in place, but we're also witnessing the Lord's judgments. All right. And we know that Esau is going to get close, but ultimately he's going to fail at it. And when you think about that, it brings a level of joy to you through the spirit and comfort, because you realize that we're in a time that our forefathers dreamed of being present at. Before cell phones, before cars, before the Industrial Revolution, Before we were on the other side of the earth, the Lord had made a promise, and we're literally witnessing the Lord make good on that promise, man. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.